Hi, it's Eva Cartman, and you're listening to the Dream Big Podcast Show, the place to go to learn, laugh, and grow. Today's guest is Radha Agrawal. We talk dancing, positive vibes, community, and so much more. This is episode 113, Big Dreamers. You know what time it is. It's time to dream big.
Welcome to the Dream Big Podcast Show. We're inspiring you to shoot for the moon, take aim and go. We bring to you amazing guests who truly love what they do. Every day they're living their dreams, and so can you. Dream big, take action to reach your goals. Are you pumped yet? It's showtime, let's rock and roll.
Hi, Big Dreamers! Before we dance our way into this week's episode with Daybreaker founder Radha Agrawal, I wanted to let you know that you can now get my free Confidence Secrets course, which is over 1 hour of me teaching you how to develop your superpower of self-belief. This Confidence Secrets course is going to be part of the Dream Big Academy that we launch next year. But for a limited time, we are offering access to this content for free at dreambigpodcast.com/beta. If you're a younger Big Dreamer listening to this, please ask your parents to help you get it. Again, it's completely free for a limited time. So please take advantage and get the course while you still can at dreambigpodcast.com/beta. Okay, on to this week's very special guest, Radha Agrawal. Radha is the co-founder, CEO, and chief community architect of Daybreaker, the early morning dance and wellness movement that currently holds events in 25 cities and over a dozen college campuses around the world with a community of almost 500,000 people. I had the opportunity to be part of a Daybreaker event a few months ago when Radha and her team invited me to Oregon to co-MC an event that Daybreaker was organizing at Nike headquarters. It was such an amazing experience and impressive operation that I knew we had to invite Radha on the podcast, and I'm so grateful she said yes. Without further ado, here's my conversation with Radha Agrawal. Hi, Radha.
Hi, Eva. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm so excited to be on this podcast with you.
Yeah, we're excited. We're super excited also.
Welcome, Radha.
Thank you so much, Olga.
So, I know that everything started in your childhood. Like you were born in Canada, but your parents were not born in Canada, right?
Right. My father's from India and my mother's from Japan. So I love saying that I'm part sushi, part curry, and part Canadian bacon. I'm Canadian bacon from Canada.
So, what did you learn from your parents' experience as immigrants, and in what ways did that inspire you to become an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so my parents from the very beginning, they showed my sisters and I that we can be solution-oriented for problems in our world. So from the very beginning, when I was a little kid, my parents wanted to have a summer camp that was a science summer camp for their kids. And there wasn't a science camp in our community, so they created it from scratch. And they called it the Gifted Children Science Camp. So we dissected pigs and learned all kinds of really cool kind of chemical reactions and things like that in the summers. And so my parents created that from scratch. Or, you know, my parents really wanted to teach children teach us how to create sort of electronics, you know, kind of kits so that we could learn how to build things from scratch. And so my dad and mom wrote the manual together and put these electronics kits together and created a little company called Tomorrow's Professionals. And so from the very beginning, they were always sort of thinking about how they can not just complain about what was going wrong with the world, but actually be solution oriented. So as a little kid, I was able to see that in my parents. Also, my parents were very big into gathering community because their families were so far away. We grew up in Canada, but our mother, mother's Japanese, our father's from India, and all of their families were in their respective countries. So they had to create their own community from scratch. And so watching them also bring our community together, throw wonderful birthday parties, summer parties, all kinds of different New Year's sort of Eve parties for our community was also an amazing thing for me to watch and has helped me be the community builder that I am today.
One of the things that immigrants do, if they don't have a way, they create a way.
Yeah.
And that's very good lesson for our audience. If you want to achieve something in life and if you see it does not exist, go out of your way and see how you and your community that you can build, you can do it together.
Okay, I want to talk about this amazing community and movement that you and your team has built with Daybreaker. Can you share the basic concept behind Daybreaker?
Absolutely. So Daybreaker is a 3-hour dance party that happens in the morning before going to school, before going to work. Imagine 500,000 people around the country, around the world, waking up before everyone else does, puts on costumes, wears sort of funky outfits, and then goes and dances for 2 hours and then does yoga for an hour before going to work or school. So that's it's called Daybreaker because they're breaking the day. And I started Daybreaker because when I was I was a young woman living in New York City, and there was nowhere for me to go that wasn't full of alcohol and drugs and mean bouncers and everyone on their phones and no one actually dancing and having fun. People were just, their faces were buried in their phones all the time when we go out at night. So Daybreaker was really an experiment. And the idea was, again, can we create a place where people can come and let their hair down and dance and wear costumes and wear glitter on their face and, be drinking green juice instead of alcohol and really have a lot of fun before going to work, before starting their day. So to really break their day with energy and excitement so that the rest of their day is full of joy and fun and laughter. And so we launched that in New York City in 2013, really as an experiment, and it just took off. And now, Daybreaker is in 23 cities around the world. We're a community of almost 500,000 people, and anywhere from 300 to 5,000 people will wake up and dance with us in different cities around the world. So it's really cool. Like we have, performers and musicians and electric guitarists and violinists and, fire spinners and break dancers and anyone of all ages, young kids, parents, everyone of all ages can come to Daybreaker because it's totally an inclusive space with, again, no alcohol. And so anybody can come. So we've loved building Daybreaker so that, we're creating the sort of community center that used to exist that no longer does. And we wanted to bring families and community members together in a way that was, again, fun and just joyful.
I have one question. How do you get that 500,000 people up and out of bed before the sun even goes up? Because I'm sure a lot of people are really tired when they wake up in the morning, even at 7 a.m. So how do you get them before that up and moving?
It's one of those things where when you create an experience that people really are excited about, and there's a mystery of, oh my God, we always change venues. So you never know when our next event is going to be and where it's going to be. So we always announce the next venue and the next theme only about 2 weeks to 3 weeks before the event happens. So there's a lot of fun of oh, wow, where is the next Daybreaker going to be? What's the new theme? Who's going to be there to perform? So there's an element of surprise each and every time, which makes it really fun to wake up. We don't go back to the same place ever. It's always changing, always moving around, which gives people a real exciting, oh my gosh, I get to wake up in the morning and do something totally wild in some totally wild place. So we've done them in, everything from aquariums to planetariums to museums to, rooftops to parks to all kinds of cool places that you would never think anybody would dance in, but we get to dance in because, we're such a fun community. And, again, because we don't, serve any alcohol. So it's awesome.
So, Radha, that's an incredible experience for the whole family. Is that correct? So parents can find out where you hosting this event next and can take kids as well, right?
Absolutely. And that's been my favorite part, is seeing little kids dancing with adults, dancing with everyone their own age, just seeing the whole community. It's the old village used to be everybody dancing or sitting around a fireplace, talking and sharing stories. And all of a sudden, the last, 100 years, we started sort of segmenting ourselves. Only the millennials hang out together. Only parents and kids hang out together. Only, sort of our elderly community hang out together. So all of a sudden, the idea was, wait, let's bring everybody together. Let's bring the family back on the dance floor together. So absolutely. I'm pregnant. I have a 6-month-old in my belly, and I can't wait to have her with me at Daybreaker on the dance floor. She already comes with me in my belly every 2 weeks.
Yeah. What's so neat about this interview is that as you're describing the energy, the good vibes, and everything that's super fun, that are part of a Daybreaker event, I can actually tell you big dreamers that I actually was part of a Daybreaker event, and it was amazing. So about a month ago, Daybreaker invited me and my mom to Portland to help be a part of an event that they were doing for Nike, and it was one of my best days of my life. And it was just so much fun, and the good energy, good vibes, everything.
Yes, I can agree with Eva. I was going to say that when we found out about you, we wanted to go to our LA event, but it just was too soon. It didn't happen, but I can't wait to go to another one, actually, with Eva and bring little Sophia, right? The 3-year-old. Did you think she'll have fun dancing?
Sure, but...
It's Eva's thing. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy. Like, that's exactly right. Like, it's, if you can have fun and mom can have fun and I can have fun and all my friends can have, the whole idea is that it's good, clean fun. It's something that's very rare today, to have somewhere to go that we can all hang out together, and for you to have just as much fun as an 11-year-old or 9-year-old. Are you 9, Eva?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So as a 9-year-old, and for me as almost, I'm a 39-year-old. So a 9-year-old and a 39-year-old have just as much fun together. And that's really what makes my heart smile so much, is that to be able to create family-friendly experiences that anybody can go to. And that just the Nike event that you were participating in, you totally made that whole event. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. And thank you for inviting me and my mom to Portland for the whole event.
That was so cool.
Yeah, it was so much fun there. What I realized about your whole team is that everyone knows how to have a great time. And it turns out that positive energy is contagious. And I'm sure you've seen it so many times by now, Radha. But can you describe the energy in the room when lots of people just come together for smiling and dancing and just having loads of fun?
Absolutely. So, the first thing I always tell my team, and one of the biggest key sort of reasons why Daybreaker continues to be sort of a growing movement around the world, is just that, every single person who comes to Daybreaker, who volunteers, who's on our team, is there to spread love and energy. And people can feel that energy is our most potent form of communication. And yet we still think that words are the best way to communicate, but we are animals. All of us are just animals, right? After all. And, our good vibes, energy, positive attitude, all that stuff is the same word for just, energy that you're sharing with the world. So, when you walk into a room, I always tell our team, you have the opportunity to really create an inclusive environment. Or so often when you go out at night, think about the security guards and the mean bouncers. They're creating an exclusive sort of kind of arm's length environment. So, one of the things that it's so important when you're throwing events or community sort of experiences is to first start with you. For you have to bring good energy so that everybody else around you feels it, and they're then in the mood to dance and have fun too. And we can't just create the space and hope everyone else has good energy if we don't have it. So we very much work on ourselves first. So in my book, I wrote a book called Belong, Find Your People, Create Community, Live a More Connected Life. And in my book, I really talk about how energy starts with you and people around. You can't find your friends if you're giving away a negative energy, whether you're an adult or a kid. If you're complaining all the time, or if you're walking in the room and gossiping about other people, nobody wants to be around you. But if you're spreading love and positive energy, then all of a sudden everybody, so, Daybreaker is successful just because we share good vibes and people want to be around good vibes. It's very, very simple.
It's so true. And let's talk about your book. You just mentioned the book Belong, and we have it right here in front of us. It's beautiful. It's so pleasant to hold in our hands.
Why did you choose to write this book, and what is your hope that readers will get from reading it?
Yes, I wrote the book because I wanted to answer the question, how the heck do I find my people? How do I make friends? I think today we are so confused. Like, here's a wild stat for you. 1 in 4 Americans have no friends to confide in. 1 in 4 Americans are lonely and isolated. And so I wrote the book because I really wanted every single person on the planet to feel a sense of, I found my friends. I feel like I'm home. And we don't know how to do that anymore. We're confused because of social media, because we are online, we're offline. Parents come to me all the time. I've given everything to my kids, or I'm no longer part of this parent-teacher thing anymore. And how do I make friends? Or kids are like, there's these bullies in school. I don't know how to deal with them. And how do I, make friends in my new school? And so we're all confused, whether you're parents, whether you're kids, whether you're an adult, you're working in a company, or whether you're a CEO of a company. It doesn't matter. Every single person is trying to figure out, especially in 2018, how do I make friends? And so I wanted to write a book that was very practical. I'm a community builder for a living, and I build communities all around the world. And I learned a lot of different tips and tricks and methods for how to make friends and how to create your dream community. So I wanted to put all of that down on a piece of paper. And I illustrated the book too. So it's a fully illustrated book too, so that anybody, whether you're 9 years old or 69 years old, could read the book and get something out of it. So it's really meant to give you all the tools you need if you're a regular person wanting to make friends, or if you're a community person who wants to build a large-scale community and doesn't really know where to start. So both of them, this book will give you exactly the how to do that.
Yes, that's so amazing. And Big Dreamers will definitely put in the links to our show notes about Radha's book, Belong, because you just need to have the book. It's so amazing. And also, I encourage everybody to go to the Daybreaker events.
Yes, that's for sure. But I want to ask more, Radha, what you just said about making friends, because we have our younger community that listening to our podcast and take good notes, I hope. So can you please share 3 tips, maybe simple 3 first steps, how to make a friend? Maybe they just walked into the new classroom or a new event. How do they make friends right there on the spot?
So step one is to really think about first everyone around you, not just the person whose locker is to your left or to your right, or not just the person who's sitting next to you in your homeroom class, but take some time, take your first 2 weeks in school to get to know as many communities as you can. And even before you do that, before the first day of school or on a weekend, before going to school on a Monday, just write down, what are all the things that I like? What are all the things that I'm interested in? Do I like playing soccer? Do I like drawing? Do I like, kind of throwing dance parties? Do I like cooking food. What are all the things that I like? And then really thinking about those types of things. And then, so when you go to school on Monday, or when you start school, you're not just making friends with just sort of anybody willy-nilly, because sometimes you can make friends with the wrong people who might not be nice to you. So take the time to really go around your school and not just stay focused on your one homeroom class, but really take some time to get to know everybody in your school and take some time to decide which of these friends makes you feel the best. Because I think so often the easy answer is, oh, she's in, her locker's next to mine, so I'm going to hang out with her. Or she asked me to go to the movies, so I'm going to go to the movies with her. It can be really easy to just fall into friendships that don't always sort of make you feel all the way alive. And so part of my book really asks you to first go inside and ask yourself, what do I like doing? What do I care about? What interests do I have? So that when you go to school, you're really able to find friends who share your interests, who you can do things with, you can create things with. And that's really what's changed my life. I used to just hang out with just anybody. And when I did that, sometimes those friends weren't always very nice to me behind my back. Sometimes we didn't get along because we didn't share the same interests. And I think so often as adults or as small, as young people, we just tend to do what's easiest without being a bit more patient. So just take a moment to do a Mars rover exploration of your school, of your city, of wherever you live, because you never know. You just might find your Mr. Miyagi from Karate Kid.
That's interesting. And we opened your book right now. It's in front of us. And I noticed how practical it is. We just recently got it, I think yesterday, right? We received it, Eva. So we didn't read through yet, but I already can tell it has so many colorful illustrations and it's fun. And one of the pages that I love, and Eva did actually ask me a question about it, but I want to address it to you, Radha. It says,
how to walk past the mean girls and continue to navigate the cafeteria of your mind. I was wondering, what do you mean by that?
So every single one of us who's listening to this podcast right now, including you and me and your mom, we all have this cafeteria inside of our minds, right? And every day we get to decide who we're going to sit with in the cafeteria. Are we going to sit with the mean girls, or are we going to sit with the soul sisters? So the mean girls are comparison, perfectionism, and judgment, right? They're the mean girls of our mind. And so imagine, every day we get to walk around, we all have these funny little characters in the cafeteria of our minds. And so the mean girls are always the first table, asking you to come sit with them. Hey, come and compare yourself to everybody else. Come and judge everybody, including yourself. Come and be a perfectionist and really nitpick all things that are going wrong. Or you can then decide to walk past the mean girls and sit with the opposite of them, who are the soul sisters. And the soul sisters are inspiration, gratitude, and curiosity. So let me break that down for you. So the opposite of comparison, of comparing yourself to your friend, she's better than me, she's smarter than me, or she's blah, blah, blah. Instead of comparing yourself to that person, be inspired by that person. So the mean girl is comparison. The soul sister is inspiration, right? And then the mean girl is perfectionism. The mean girl says, this is wrong. This is not, you're not doing it right. You're too fat. You're too skinny. You're not smart enough, and just constantly nitpicking what's going wrong. That's the mean girl perfectionist. Well, the opposite of the mean girl perfectionist is gratitude, being grateful for what's going right. So instead of focusing on what's going wrong, like the mean girl, the soul sisters are focusing on what's going right and saying, wow, I'm so grateful for the soft sheets on my bed. I'm so grateful for the warm shower I get to have in the morning. I'm so grateful for the sandwich in my lunchbox. I'm so grateful for the friends I have in my homeroom. If we just focus our attitude on the soul sister gratitude moment, our entire life and world shifts. I did that. I changed from being a perfectionist to a grateful person, and my entire outlook on life changed. And third, the opposite of judgment, which is a mean girl moment, judging yourself. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. To actually being curious, and asking yourself questions, getting curious. Why am I being so judgmental of this person in my class? Why am I being so judgmental of this person in my office? Why am I being so judgmental about myself? And getting curious about your own judgments will then shine a giant mirror and is a soul sister moment. So curiosity, gratitude, and inspiration will set you free. And you have a choice every single moment of every single day who you're going to sit with in the cafeteria of your minds. And we all have that.
That's amazing. And before you were talking about gravity,
Gratitude?
Gratitude, sorry. I saw in your book Belong that you said to take like a couple minutes each day, like while you're brushing your teeth, just to think of 3 things that you're grateful for. So
that's a great advice.
Yeah, how did you come up with that?
Yeah, it's something that everyone can practice, right? Right away.
Absolutely. So, absolutely. Gratitude practice is something that lots of people are talking about right now, but really how to get it in your daily routine is something that we kind of forget how to do it. So for me, I have a gratitude practice when I'm brushing my teeth. Whenever I'm brushing my teeth, I look at myself in the mirror, and that's my moment to look myself in the mirror and say, Radha, I'm grateful for these 3 things. And every morning I share that gratitude with myself. And it's a wonderful time because the bathroom, you're so typically running, you're rushing. I brush my teeth. I'm late for school. I take my shower. And if we just took 30 seconds to look ourselves in the mirror while brushing our teeth, to be grateful for 3 things, it makes such a difference. And it's important to have these types of markers in our lives to know, okay, brushing my teeth equals gratitude moment, equals feels good, equals that makes me have a great day. So that's a really wonderful sort of morning ritual that I do in the morning.
That's fun. It's something easy. Yeah. Everyone can do it, right? Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that tip, Radha.
Everyone can do it. Absolutely. Thank you. You're welcome.
I have a couple more questions for you before we end this interview. So you have already made many of your dreams a reality, but if you look at yourself today, what's your big dream for the future?
I have so many big dreams for the future. But the first is I'm just so excited to be birthing this baby in my belly and to really be bringing up a daughter just as special as you are, Eva. And so that's a big dream of mine. But also, I'm working on this new project. It's called Live It Up. And it's a really wonderful sort of modern day life school. So think about it. When you're in school, you're learning mathematics, you're learning geography, you're learning science, you're learning grammar and vocabulary. But there's so many things that we don't learn in the classroom, right? Things like how to love yourself, how to make friends, how to have confidence, how to manage your time well, right? How to deal with nutrition and wellness, how to be healthy. These are some of the things that we don't always learn in school. And so I spent the last 2 years working on this new project called Live It Up, and it comes out in November. And the idea is every morning when you wake up, you're going to receive a really cool video message from one of our life wellness guides. So people like the founder and CEO of Whole Foods Market, the author of a 12-time New York Times bestselling authors of some of the best nutrition books teaching you about food. I'll be teaching about community building and how to make your dream friends. And so different people every morning in your phone will be sharing a video challenge so that you can lead a better life. And I'm very, very passionate about sharing wisdom. I think so often wisdom is lost because we can get lazy about it. Online courses don't always work. So I'm really fascinated by the idea of really sharing wisdom with people to places where they already are, like their text messages. So that's my big dream project, is to really give every person on the planet the wisdom and the tools they need to succeed every morning when they wake up.
We can't wait for this one, Radha. It's coming out soon, and we will link everything in our show notes as well as soon as it will come out.
Oh my gosh, it was called Live It Up, and it's goliveit.com.
Cool.
Is the website. Yep. And then Daybreaker, if you want to check us out, is you go to daybreaker.com and you put your email address in, find your city, and we'll start sending you our secret emails, that invitations. It's really fun.
That's great. And we will include everything in our show notes. And I have one very last question, Radha. Since I have an expert of the community building on our podcast right now, I wanted to ask you a quick tip maybe that you can share how we can grow our community of big dreamers. So we already have millions and millions of people listening, but we've been very consistent with our project. Every Monday we have a new episode, and maybe you can share something that we maybe don't know.
Yeah, so the first thing is, when you're building a community online, it's very important to also have an offline presence. So perhaps you can do, a healthy ice cream social with Ava and Olga, and you can meet the community members. And when you get to meet your community members who are listening to your podcast, maybe you do a monthly ice cream social or a monthly, hang out in the park on the swings or whatever, and you have the community come out and meet you, then all of a sudden you can really grow that community exponentially, because now the 2 million listeners, maybe they're bringing one new friend to come and meet you in the park. And now all of a sudden you have 5 new listeners, another new listener. So I really believe that having an offline community presence is actually very critical in growing your community exponentially, because it creates this sort of viral sharing, like where friends will be like, oh, I've been listening to this podcast, it has 2 million downloads. I'd love you to come. And now more people are going to come to your event and learn more about you. So I always say that the first thing to really think about is doing a kind of a monthly or a quarterly in-person event so your community can meet you and connect with you face-to-face.
Thank you so much for sharing that tip. I agree with you, Radha, because, online is online. But as we talked about today in our interview, energy, the people energy and smiles and incredible feeling that you have and the love that you feel when you're together, especially if you are united by one mission, by one idea. That's something that online cannot translate, yes? And it's something that always have to go hand in hand. I agree with you. Thank you so much for giving us this advice.
Yeah, thank you.
You're very welcome.
I have one more question for you before we end this episode. It is, where can our audience find out more about you and your amazing company, Daybreaker?
And the book and everything else.
Belong and everything.
Absolutely. So Daybreaker, you can find me on the dance floor, but you go to daybreaker.com and then you'll see all the 25 cities available to choose from, and then just put your email address in. We'll start and then hit send, and we'll start sending you our secret invitations. So that's for Daybreaker, and we're in 13 U.S. cities, 25 around the world. And then my book, you can find more information at belongbook.com. And then anything that I do around, my own personal speaking and all this other stuff, you can find more information about all my other projects as well at my name, radhaagrawal.com.
That's great.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast. And Big Dreamers, my family just bought the book Belong on Amazon, and we love it. So we encourage you to go to Daybreaker, get the book.
And live your best life. Live it up with the Radha. The whole community.
Thank you so much, Eva. Thank you so much, Olga. You guys are the best. I can't wait to hear the podcast when it comes out.
Bye.
Bye. Take care. Bye.
That was so much fun. Thank you, Radha, for coming on the show. And Big Dreamers, be sure to pick up Radha's book, Belong, and check out Daybreaker. All the links are on our show notes at dreambigpodcast.com/113. Did you enjoy this episode? If so, please tell your friends and family about the Dream Big podcast. If everyone listening can just tell one person about this episode, that would lead to a chain reaction that would get the Dream Big podcast in front of so many new people, which would be amazing. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button so that you can be notified whenever we release a new episode. If you can take a few moments to leave us a review as well at dreambigpodcast.com/iTunes, we really appreciate your reviews, and it helps us grow the show. Finally, be sure to get my free Confidence Secrets course at dreambigpodcast.com/beta. Thank you so much for tuning into the Dream Big podcast. This is Eva Cartman reminding you that you have unlimited potential. Your dreams are not optional, you need to make them essential. So take massive action to turn those big dreams into reality. Live with passion, the way life is meant to be. See you next episode. Bye-bye.